We treat one thing. That's it. And we'll talk about that. The 5 essentials that you see there are what we're going to get into, because there's 4 others other than what we do in the office. So current state of affairs, we're gonna talk about the principle. I started with the chiropractic piece because we're going to talk about the principle of how the body gets healthy, functions, and stays healthy. And back we're going to tie it in a little bit. We're not going to spend a whole lot of time on this, but back in the middle 1800s, we came up with the germ theory of disease. You guys probably heard about that. Louis Pasteur said germs cause disease. And about the same time, there was this other guy, Claude Bernard, a French guy. I think these all were French guys. And this Antoine Beauchamp, I guess is his name. But Claude Bernard, very interesting, about the same time frame, he had the terrain theory. Anybody ever heard of the terrain theory? You didn't hear about it because the germ theory is what won out. And so the germ theory says that germs cause disease. You come in contact with a germ, you better run and hide. It's like a bullet. There's no stopping it. And what Claude said was it's the soil in which the disease that develops is a determining factor. Okay, so germs versus terrain. And we're going to talk about the terrain right here. Okay, it's the individual, it's the host. And that's where we go with it. And one of the things we talk about all the time, and one of the very first chiropractors, by the way, chiropractic started in 1895, not coincidence, but the first chiropractor was alive during all this stuff that was happening. He said, no, that ain't right. And he said, if germs cause disease, none of us would be alive to talk about it. And what he meant was, germs don't cause disease in every single body. You can trace a disease to a virus or a bacteria, right? I'm not saying you can't trace COVID to a coronavirus. You can. But it doesn't infect everybody it comes in contact with. Does that make sense? And so when that chiropractor said, hey, he was telling people, hey, I know what you guys can do during a pandemic. We can help make your immune system stronger. Well, do you think that if you ate better, that it's going to make you healthier?
No.
How about if you exercise? Right? How about if you reduce your stress load? You know, stress is like all this crap that we live in today. I mean, today it's so much easier to hate people in general. We all laugh about it, but it's so true. And we're going to talk about avoiding the toxins too, and we're going to talk about, the main core that we do with this chiropractic, and they all tie together. These are the 5 essentials. You know why they're essential? Because this is all you need to know about being healthy. I'm going to test you on this, okay? When I say test you, I mean I'm going to test what you've been taught. Because I know none of you have been taught this. Even people who go to chiropractors don't get taught this. They talk about chiropractors being good for back and neck pain and your sciatica and all this other stuff, and things like your stomach works better and you sleep better and you have more energy happen when people start getting adjusted. And you try to tell somebody else that and they go, whoa, no. And we got a whole profession out there that says, you guys think you can cure everything, right? Well, not true. So at the end of Pasteur's life, we don't hear this either, but he said, hey, Bernard was right. It's not the germ, it's the soil. You guys never heard that either. There's some really cool stuff out there. Now, as a little bit of a side note, back in that same time, you guys might have heard of smallpox and Edward Jenner's and the milkmaids. They found out none of the milkmaids were getting smallpox, and they're handling all the pus and all this other stuff. Well, here's what they did. The first, this was actually a true vaccination. We have immunizations, we have vaccinations. Backwards. Here's what they did: is they took the pus blister right here, right, from the smallpox, and went over to the other person and roughed up their skin till they exposed it, right? Scraped it down to where it was bleeding, and then we scraped some of this pus off of here, and we're going to put some pus on you there. And and we're going to introduce the disease into you. It was the first chickenpox party, right? Right? We used to get kids together and they would play together, and you'd expose them. It was no fancy thing other than we're just going to expose you. But here's what happened: is they had the first anti-vaccinators back then too, because you know what happened to people that got exposed? To some people, they died, and they said, we're not doing that anymore. And we're going through this same stuff. This was back in the 1800s, all this stuff. And this has been our healthcare system all along. There's a pretty cool book that's out about Louis Pasteur and how we got our all this wrong with the germ theory, and that's what we based our healthcare system on now. And we're kind of in the midst of all this stuff, and you guys are here tonight because you're like on the same page. I know that, I get it. And we're not going to spend a lot of time on what's going in other than the principle of what we do here. Okay? So, if you shine more darkness into darkness, you're not going to create any light. And one of the first chiropractors said, instead of cursing the darkness, instead of hating the people, we should love on them, we should light a candle and spread some light. So let's spread the light now. Okay? 5 essentials. This is the light right here. The core is chiropractic. Number 2 is nutrition. Number 3 is mindset. Number 4 is oxygen exercise. And number 5 is minimizing toxins. Now normally we start with this one and this one. Everybody gets that. You just got to exercise and eat better and you'll be healthy. But there's still people that exercise and eat right and still die young. And there's people that don't exercise and don't eat very good and they live into their 90s, right? Uncle Eddie at the family reunion that smokes every day and he drinks every day and he's still alive and you can't believe he is a dead guy. So we're going to kind of talk about all these things, but we're going to base this on the Align Your Health book, this one here. All new patients get this now in their kit. Do you know why? Because everything you need to know is in here. It's such a great start. And I'm kind of a book geek. I love to read. And so your homework for this is to read the first 2 chapters. Okay? And you should be able to do that lickety split. You could it's such an easy read. And half the book is recipes on how to put the food together. So it talks about all this stuff. So this is an introduction. We're gonna go through this pretty quick. I cannot teach you everything about this, but I hope to give you a desire to learn more and to research it. And any questions you have, I will be happy to help you with. Now, also as we go along here, I want you to think about what your short-term goal is. I'm going to have for your health, or could be any of the 5 essentials, what your short-term goal is, right? I want to quit smoking. I don't know if I can help you with this one, which, I want to have a better relationship with my wife. I don't know if that's possible, but I'm joking. But think about these things. I do know people that are more qualified in that than I am. How's that? Short-term goals are very important, and we'll talk about that. You guys are all here because you want to be healthy and you want to be around, and you want, short-term goals, go hiking, but long-term goal is, be around for your kids, right? So you can be a thorn in their side for many, many years to come. All right, so
the other way around.
Chapter 1 and 2, it could be that too. Your consultation is coming soon. I'm going to give you the survey to fill out, and on your next exam we're going to talk about this and we're going to incorporate this more if you want more help with it. We do more than just adjust, but we start with that. Okay? Health goals. And again, in case I forgot to mention, read chapter 1 and 2. Okay, we're going to talk about how to prioritize as well. If you only got $50 to spend on your gym membership, but you're eating really bad food, you might want to prioritize that a little differently. because there's ways to get exercise without going to the gym. I love the gym idea. Some people do better at the gym, others don't, but we're going to prioritize what are the most important things to look at first. And it might surprise you, supplements are not the first thing that we look at here. Okay? And the whole goal behind this is taking care of families. You see that picture up there? That's my family. I take care of my family. And if your family hasn't been checked, if your family's never been to the chiropractor, they need to go and they need to get checked. It's that critical. That lady right there is my mother, and I get to pick on her every time because it's like my best success story ever. She's in her 70s. Okay.
You chicken, you young chicken.
Goes to the gym, works out, utilizes all the 5 essentials, and is on 0 medications, lives in her own house, is vibrant, is active. This is what life should be like. This is what you get out of it. And she's been a patient for over 20 years. She didn't come in right away because she wanted to make sure I knew what the heck I was doing. And then finally came in, but the difference is what do I need to do? Well, here's what you do. You do this, you do this, you do this, you do this. And to contrast that, my father got the same advice, but he never did any of them. And he passed away 6 years ago. And the last 10 to 15 years we're living in assisted living. From about 55 on to 69. And right? You shake our heads and I go, I'm 55. I woke up 3 weeks ago in the middle of the night, and I woke up and I go, I'm 55. How did I get to be 55? And I'm like, I don't feel like I'm 55. How come I can't sleep? You see, you get to make choices, and our only job here is to help you make those choices so that you can be around for a long time. Hopefully longer than I may be around. Okay? If you quit driving in the back of cars. All right, so how to prioritize. We'll get to that in a little bit. So let's jump into the core of chiropractic. The principle of chiropractic, I'm going to explain it to you with this. You know what this is? Yeah, well, this is from the diaper of my oldest child. He's a big boy. I'm kidding. So this is how we explain this. This is your brain. Here's your organs. Okay? Brain, organs. There's a loop that sends information from your brain down to your organs, and there's a system that reads what's happening, sends it back to your brain, and this keeps going in a cycle. And this is how we were created to function and to heal. This is where, down here is where your symptoms are, your back pain, your headaches, whatever it might be down here. The subluxation, when that vertebrae moves out of place, breaks that cycle. Makes sense. Our job is to connect that. But here's what happens. When that cycle is broken, it's just a muscle problem. I just need to exercise more. I just got too much stress. I need to relax. I need to meditate. I just need to eat better, and it'll go away. Well, you can massage this, you can rub this, you can rest this, but until you adjust it and you take that pressure off the nerve and you connect that back up, it's not going to go away without an adjustment. And so that's why we start with chiropractic first. Does that make sense? Okay. I know a lot of you know this. We can trace all the symptoms back to nerve levels. And after 27 years, I've seen so many miracles that happen with the 13-year-old that comes in and says he could ride his bike up the biggest hill in by his house with his friends without getting an asthma attack, and it was the first time ever. And that's because we did something like putting this back, and now his brain could communicate to his lungs. It didn't fix his asthma. All I did was adjust him so that his body could control that and heal. And so the premise behind chiropractic is that all health and all healing comes from the inside out, from above, down, inside out. It doesn't come from the outside in, below, and up. And that's what medicine does. We have to give you a drug because you're not capable of healing. Now, I'm not against medicine. There's emergency medicine that's out there that's very, very important. You run into the back of a car and you got a bone sticking out of your arm, do not call me to get adjusted right away. Go to the hospital, have them set that, then we'll take care of the subluxation that happened in your spine from crashing into the car. You see, there's life-saving, but it was never meant to replace the healing that's already been here, and we believe that that is already there. That's what that doctor, that chiropractor was saying, is we can help your immune system, your body function better. It's not a shield from COVID or any of the other stuff. It's just, let's make you as healthy as possible. Let's clean up the soil so that you have the best chance of being healthy. Makes sense, right? We give you a home care kit because that supports the adjustment, and it gets the curves back and reduces the subluxation as quick as possible. So if you're not doing your home care, please start. Because when we do your progress exams, we're going to talk about where you're at with that. And we may change some stuff. That's part of the reason we do progress exams. Are you getting better? And the way we tell if you're getting better is not if you feel better. Are we changing the way this is? Makes sense. It's so important. That's why we link the videos in the book. You can watch the videos. It shows you exactly how to do those things. All right. Questions about that? I'll be around afterwards. You can jot them down. Mindset. This is like one of my favorites because the mind is a pretty powerful thing. So, again, back to the models of healthcare. Salutogenic and pathogenic. This is inherent trust in the body's wisdom, that innate intelligence. This is what we do here. You have this intelligence that can take food. When you're not subluxated, it can take that food, that high quality food, extract the nutrients and send the rest out the other end, and your body knows how to do it every single time. But the fear tactics we're like right in the midst of it, right? You're not capable. Put a mask on. If you come in contact with somebody, you might die. Encouragement and support. Cure is for the whole. Get to the cause. That's what we're after, is getting to the cause, not treating the symptom or the condition. Comes back to you got everything you need in there. Support the process. Do we support the process or do we try to fix it? By the way, how well has this been working? Right? We take 75% of all the drugs manufactured worldwide, and we only have 5% of the population in the USA. And we spend $7,000 to $8,000 per person on healthcare. Now, I ain't spent $7,000 or $8,000 on me this year. Probably not in the last 10 years. So some people are spending a lot more. And still, we ranked 37 out of 37. Number one being the best. We got more cancer and more heart disease now than we ever had. And that's our goal, is to build you guys up so that doesn't. So you can be sitting here on 0 medications making fun of me. How cool would that be? So mindset, one of the things that we do, that I do, I use Google Calendar, and I plan how I get all this stuff done. I actually use, I'm like old school too, and I still like using my note card. And I make my note card out every morning about the stuff I need to do, and it's got all my 5 essentials. So here was my mindset, is I made a list of everything that I valued. And I had to stop and not put down what everybody else says you should value. What do I really value? And then I looked at where I spent my time. And I found out that my time wasn't spent on what I valued. And I didn't have a war plan. I didn't have a schedule. And so I created this. So and I came up with, basically, oddly enough, it was a lot of the 5 essentials that I valued. Mindset, having a positive attitude, and how I put my day together. I valued how I eat and my health. I valued my health. So it came down to exercise and food, and well, am I doing those things? Oh, not so good. And then minimizing toxins. Yeah, I'm not doing so good on that one either. I was getting adjusted every week. Okay, so I started to build on this, and on my list of stuff to do every day, I start with my morning routine, and that's more to get my head straight and spend time. I love to read. I spend time reading, not romance novels. I know that might surprise you, but things that help get me centered. And one of the things I like to read is the Bible. I don't spend a lot of time in it. I just read enough till I get something out of it. And I read a lot of. I rarely read fiction books. They're all something I can use. And I got about 3 different books on my list that I go to in the morning. And I'll spend some time in meditation, and I'll spend some time in exercise. And it took me a long time to get to this, okay? Please don't try and change everything, because you'll end up, and I tried that before, and you'll end up, oh, that doesn't work. And it's just small changes. If you changed one thing a week and just made a small change each week, it's a lot at the end of the year. And I'm still making changes. So we schedule stuff. We schedule date night. Here's something new we're trying to do for those of you that are married. We're trying to go over our war. Hey, what do you got tomorrow? What's on your war plan? And we're trying to go over on Sunday night, what's our week look like? And what do we got planned? We're gonna go out of town this weekend. When are we gonna leave? What do you got to do here? And well, I'm gonna get this workout in, or whatever it is. So you've heard this said, when people retire, they say, I'm so busy now, I don't know how I ever had time to work. Well, what happens is this is all wide open. Oh, I got all this time, I got all day to do it. And pretty soon it just fills in with all these emergency things and things that weren't important. And when I created my value list and I went through my schedule, I found out that I was filling in with stuff that didn't match my values. And there were things that I didn't need to focus on. Make sense? Mindset. On mindset, short-term goals, long-term goals, pretty cool. I started digging into this. One of the things I got into, and I hope to have some shorter videos on some of these concepts, because they're really cool. And I've done a lot of research. The Science of Self-Discipline. I love this book, because one of my excuses was, I just don't have any self-discipline. I can't do that. And then I found out the definition of self-discipline, of discipline, was just creating better habits. Like, oh, huh, okay. It wasn't like either you have it or I was born without discipline.
Anything goes.
Right? and I'd like to live my life that way, but I want to have. So here's what I found out though. The science. I'm kind of a science guy. They actually talk about the research and all these psychology studies and all this stuff, and they found out that you can create new habits that become automatic after about 2 months. Some people can do it quicker, some people it takes longer. But if you do something every day for 2 months, after a while you don't even think about it, you just do it. And so my son deployed in June 1st. And so one of the things that I came across me was motivation, being motivated or inspired. Well, I'm just not motivated because I don't have any self-discipline. That was my other excuse. and we've all been there, right? You get all fired up and motivation leaves within a few hours to a few days. We've all been through it. Yeah, I'm gonna make you watch a show on TV, you go listen to some doctor speak who's like really amazing, and you want to make all these changes, and you end up, it lasts for a little bit and it goes away because motivation is about that much. Or you rely on willpower, right? And I found out the science behind that is that doesn't work either. And so one of the things on the that I wanted to share with you was the motivation piece. Problem with motivation is that it's fleeting and it usually fades away after hours or even days, weeks in the best of scenarios, even when you set goals. Now, in terms of goals, it's what they talk about, and this is huge. I got this from another author. When I start reading books and they start, the ideas start, I start seeing the same idea in all these books, I know I'm onto something. And this guy first, this Joshua Metcalf, he first, I first read it in there. I'm not going to say he come up with it first. I just happened to read that book first. And I got to this one, and it says a lot of things that happen to us and around us. I got this highlighted for Gracie to read, by the way, because I wish I would have learned this a long time ago. A lot of things that happen to us and around us are out of our control. When we focus on what we can control, our own effort, our mindset becomes much healthier. Outcomes, despite of how much effort we might put toward them, are 100% up to external influences. That's a huge thing. You can't just work harder at it, right? No matter how much practice I put in, I'm pretty sure I'm not going to be a basketball player. I was the first one cut from my high school basketball team. So, get this though, when you only attach your sense of worth to the effort you're putting forth, you start to enjoy the progress, rather the process, regardless of the outcome. So what can we control? What we put into it, right? What we do. We set goals. There's nothing wrong with setting goals, but we might not reach those goals. But I guarantee it will get better. But the real goal is the process. I'm going to do this every day for how long?
Lifetime.
No. How long does it take to develop a habit? 2 months. We do it every day for 2 months, and it might only be 5 minutes. Make it something easy to do. Not I'm going to go home and I'm going to clean the whole cupboard out. We're going to get rid of all the bad food. And we're going to change our diet over like that. I've had husbands call me up after the wife has been to one of our workshops and said, "Would you talk to her? She took all my food away." Small changes, right? It's a process. And so what's interesting too is this other book I got here is Discipline Equals Freedom. Oh, I found another book on discipline. Well, now this guy is saying discipline's important, and so this sits on our counter. It's an easy one to read, and I like it. It's not you know this guy?
No.
So this guy's a Navy SEAL, because I thought those guys just think different. They got the mindset. I'll read about the Navy SEAL guy, and he's quite interesting. But staying motivated. Don't worry about motivation. Motivation is fickle. It comes and goes. Well, I know that. I read that in that book. It is unreliable, and when you're counting on motivation to get your goals accomplished, you will likely fall short. So, don't expect to be motivated every day to get out there and make things happen. You won't be. People say that. I just need to be motivated. I need you to help me with motivation. I'm like, sorry, I can't do that. Don't count on motivation, count on discipline. But I don't have any. You know what you have to do, so make yourself do it. Do it anyways. That's the guy's motto. Do it anyway. And I gotta admit that for the first month doing the workouts in June, I was like, yeah, I don't want to do it. Well, I gotta do it anyways. And even today's workout, today was a leg day. I was like, I don't want to do it. And it was a lot easier. But I'm gonna do it. I don't want to exercise every day. And as soon as I started doing it, it just clicked in, and it was so much easier. So having stuff around to read, mindset every day is huge. Cool? Nutrition. People ask me about nutrition all the time. So we're going to talk about it. Appendix A and B in the book. Now we got a little bit extra for you, but they're appendices and they're really easy to read. This is the order of nutrition. First things first, you always change your meats. You change your meats and your dairy to 100% grass-fed, no corn-fed. It tells you why in here. Okay. No additives, no pesticides, none of that stuff. And we have a farmer that delivers 100% grass-fed out in the parking lot, pulls up in a truck or a van or whatever, and he'll sell it to you out in the parking lot. and you can order it right online, and it's amazing meat. They don't feed it any corn because cows weren't meant to eat corn. They feed it grass. They got all kinds of stuff. They got lamb, they got pork, they got beef. We get eggs from them because their chickens run around. We order a half a cow at a time. I think you can get as small as an 8. I get nothing out of it. It's just other than this is where you should get your meats. Okay. Cub food meats are bad. Really, really bad. So here, why would I say change your meats? Because people think I should eat organic produce first. And here's the very simple version of it, is it takes like 8 pounds of grass, food, soybeans, whatever, for a cow to eat to make 1 pound of meat, or 8 pounds of corn. You know why they feed it corn?
Because it puts the weight on it faster.
Yeah, kind of. It's subsidized and it's cheap. It's the cheapest food they can give it. And the problem is when you take 8 pounds of sprayed chemicals on produce, it gets concentrated into 1 pound of meat in the cow. So people change their plant foods to organic, which is great, but now they're eating all this conventional meat and they're still getting all the junk. Does that make sense? So that's why we start right there. And it's not that red meat causes heart disease. It's all the bad chemicals and what the cows are eating in there. Now, I'm speaking in generalities. Some people do not do good on a meat diet, and they do better on plant-based diets. Some eat a lot of meat. Some only can tolerate a little bit. So you got to find where you're at with it. Then we change the dirty dozen, which is the produce. We'll talk about that in a second. And lastly, we talk about adding supplements and what that looks like. We're not here to sell vitamins. Okay? Feedlots, you see the big ones, right? They send the cow there for the last month of their life, and they
full of corn.
right? And they're cows. You put it in front of them, they're gonna eat it, just like my dog. We want them eating that stuff. Not that stuff. See how much happier he looks?
You're smiling.
Right? He's smiling.
Those ones in the feedlot knows what's coming.
Yeah. One of the things
Wouldn't be
they-
happy either.
So, one of the things they do with the farmer that we get our meat from too is humanely raised. They actually come out and put the cow down at the farm and then take them away, as opposed to putting them on a truck, hauling down the road, because you know the cows know something's up. Never bet, and so the hormones that get created and stuff. Kind of like, I equate it to like deer hunting. And some people say, oh, those deer up north taste really bad, and those corn-fed deer taste better. And I've had a deer that never ate any corn, like cows, that tasted really good. But if you shoot it a half a dozen times and then you chase it all day long till you find it, right? All the hormones, all the stuff that happens to it, and you track it, and then depending on how you process it and how clean you are, and then you throw it on your car and you salt it on the Minnesota highway all the way back home, and then you throw it, right? And then you throw it in the floor of the garage, and then you cut it up eventually when you get it to the butcher, and you go, geez, that deer tasted like crap. Well, what would you expect? A little extra there. So, dirty dozen, clean 15. You don't have to go out and buy organic produce. You can eat the ones that naturally don't have many chemicals sprayed on them. That's the clean 15. The dirty dozen are the ones that if you're going to eat those, always get those organic, because they have a pile of pesticides on them. And when you look at this, strawberries, apples, grapes, peaches, cherries, these are a lot of things we give our kids. And they're a lot smaller, and they're concentrating this stuff. Spinach, celery, tomatoes. So you can, EWG, you can actually get the app on your phone. I look it up all the time because I forget when I'm at the store. Because, sometimes, oh, look at that, avocados. Now, there's a difference between pesticides sprayed and GMO stuff, too. My understanding is it papayas that David likes?
Mangoes.
It is mangoes. Mangoes are a high GMO crop. So you got to balance that out too. I think it's corn. Sweet corn is on here, but sweet corn is like all GMO. So be careful there. Just because it doesn't have the pesticide on it, it's in it. Okay. So corn is like always get organic corn. And then vitamins. So they come afterwards, and what do you look at when people ask me about vitamins all the time, and they ask me for vitamins. What vitamin do I take for dry scalp? And remember that I'm just making it up. For XYZ, it sounds better than XYZ. But people say, what do you take for this? And the way we look at vitamins is the same way we look at how we do the adjustments. Is you want to give your body what it needs, let your body utilize it, and then heal and run itself the right way. Does that make sense? So a multivitamin, there's ones that are special for men and special for women, because we are a little different. We have different, so that's where we start with a multivitamin, and then we start with the next number 2 is the vitamin D3. In importance level. These are in my importance level. But what we know about vitamin D3 is that when your serum levels of vitamin D3, vitamin D, are high enough, your cancer rates go down. See, that's what that one doctor was talking about, was you can help strengthen your immune system by taking vitamin D3, and it'll make you healthier and eating better and exercise, doing all those things. But look at that, 83% less when your levels are 50 or higher of breast cancer. You guys probably didn't hear that study. How amazing is that? Because you've heard it, right? But also all these other types of problems, even heart attack. So, vitamin D is the sunlight vitamin, right? You can get it you can get it out in the sunlight. But we live in Minnesota. It requires 20 minutes of sunlight on 80% of your body every day. And that's to meet a minimum amount. The other thing about vitamin D, and it's the D3 that's the most absorbable form, is 5,000 units. Milligrams? It's not in milligrams. Huh?
IUD?
I don't know what it is.
It's IUD.
Is it? I forget. But people tell you, a lot of people tell you just 1,000, and that's not enough. Okay? We don't get enough sunlight here. And whenever I get the opportunity, though, I try to get the sun in, just because it just feels good. All right. And then fish oils, omega fish oils, are number 3, especially for reducing inflammation and heart health. And these pictures are the ones of what Max Living has, but I usually get the bigger bottle. Bear with me for a second. This is a different company, and this is my own supply, because this is exactly what I do. There's nothing on that shelf that we don't utilize or take, otherwise we don't have it. Fish oil. And I eat a lot of good fats. I try to avoid all the bad fats, but I still take this, and it's just like an insurance policy. You'll hear all kinds of things about vitamins out there. You're wasting your money. You just have expensive pee. Maybe, but what the heck, right? Why not? Yeah. Here's the other piece. You can get really, really, really cheap vitamins. Don't buy vitamins at Costco or Walmart or Sam's Club or Target. It's like anything else. You're gonna buy organic produce, you're gonna pay a little bit extra. You're gonna buy high quality supplements, you're gonna pay a little bit extra. I keep all these things, these 3, and I take a few other things. I keep some here and I keep some at home. You know why? Because I forget. It's even on my list. Vitamins. And I still forget, but I can take them here. Make sense? Yeah. All right. That also goes for kids as well. Fish oils, multivitamin. Kids eat horrible. And one of the other things I use after a workout is I do use protein, but the protein comes from cows and it's 100% grass fed. So that's on my list too, a smoothie in the morning. And I use a little bit of collagen, because collagen is like one of the biggest proteins in the body and helps out with the joints, and I'm a little stiff and sore sometimes in the morning. So I figure I can use a little bit of help. Now, eating plans. Appendix A and B, there's the core plan and there's an advanced plan in there. These are not diets. This is just how we eat to fuel our body to be healthy. Core plan is more for if your level of health is where you want it. Advanced plan is when we got to get caught up. There's already a hormone problem. The inflammation is prevalent. We'll talk about what plan works best for you when we do your next exam. But if you fall into these categories right here, then you should be looking at the advanced plan. How long do you stay on the advanced plan? What do you think?
Forever.
You could, till you reach your,
or as long as, until you reach your goal, or whatever.
till you reach your goal, right? Yeah, definitely. And a lot of these problems can be solved by changing the way we eat and exercise and getting adjusted through the 5 essentials. But there is no real silver bullet. Wouldn't it be nice? You mean I just have to do the advanced plan and I'll have the life I want? No, sorry.
I have kind of a maybe strange question with this.
I specialize in strange questions.
Okay, so, this, I've been doing a little research on the autism thing.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't be surprised if some of these other things get in because of some things that are in our vaccines.
Yeah.
And
So-
so maybe it's a really hard question, and there's probably no answer to it, but I'm just wondering how much of this stuff is caused or even to contribute to.
So,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's a very, very highly debated, controversial subject, and it depends on who you ask. I think that there's probably something to that link. You read anything that Robert Kennedy talks about with the vaccine stuff, and he says absolutely. You talk to other people, and they say no, not at all. And we know that Guillain-Barré syndrome is a result from some of the vaccines that it happens in people where they have this nervous system response, autoimmune, crippling type of problem that they can't explain. And there's some really, really interesting things that are happening right now because with COVID, kids aren't going in getting vaccinated. And they're seeing some of these numbers change, and I hope that they really start to examine that. But I also think that there's a lot of fear about this stuff, and we're headed down the whole vaccine solution thing with this, and that scares me too. So, yeah, I think you're right about that. Some of the toxicities. So, simple, 3 basic changes. I'm giving you a lot of things to think about here, and if you pick one out for this week, I'd be really happy. 3 basic changes. Eliminate the grains and sugar. This is in the advanced plan. Eliminate the grains, sugars, fruits, even the healthy grains that turn rapidly, right? The worst thing you can eat for breakfast is Cheerios. Oh my. Hey, guess what it turns into?
Sugar.
Right? And we give these to our kids, and we can't understand why they don't pay attention in school. That's okay though. I got a little pill for you. When the bell rings, we're going to give you a pay attention pill.
Yeah.
It's sad, but Granny Smiths are berries, and Granny Smith and grapefruit are low glycemic, not a lot of sugar. Replace the proteins and remove the bad fats, and replace them with good ones. And all the good fats are in here. What you should be eating: avocados and coconuts and all kinds of stuff. And the advanced plan will help you burn fat at a higher level, detoxify, reduce inflammation, and balance hormones. And that's so critical. You know, when I talked about the safety pin cycle and doing your home care stuff, and we do your progress exam, and you're still like this and you're not getting the results you want, guess why that is? Why would you not be getting the results you want when you're coming here?
Nutrition.
Lifestyle, right? This is caused by lifestyle stuff. I see people do it all the time. Doc, how come I'm... First of all, whose responsibility is it to get healthy? Mine or yours? Right? I'm not here to fix you. I'm here to adjust you. I'm here to help you. I'm here to remove the interference. But if your lifestyle keeps causing this, it's very hard to keep up with it. If you're not doing your home care, it takes a lot longer to fix that too. Okay? And I just want to be fair about that. People get amazing results getting adjusted, but some people get miracles, and that's because they incorporate the other 4 essentials. Okay? So, sugar burning or fat burning? Eating your Cheerios, I'm gonna tell you what, you're a sugar burner. And you're going through your day like this, peaks and valleys. And that's where you get the uncontrollable cravings. I'll tell you what, if I eat sugar, I'm craving it. Because I don't have any willpower or self-discipline. Well, you should. Here's something interesting about willpower. If you don't buy the cheesecake at the store, you only have to say no once. If you take it home, every time you walk by that cheesecake, you have to say no. And eventually, you know what's going to happen?
You say yes.
You're going to say yes. And the science, where's that book? The science behind the self-discipline, they said it's like a gas tank. Every time you say no, you deplete it a little bit, and pretty soon that gas tank is empty. And guess what? You're eating a cheesecake. So, worse than sugar is this stuff. Coke Zero, bad. This is hugely toxic. Splenda equal, NutraSweet. They put it in Gatorade. What's Gatorade that doesn't have that? What's it called? I hollered every time she drinks Gatorade. Don't drink Gatorade. It's the worst thing. Yeah, but they got the Gatorade that has 0 calories, right? And they make it look like water. Just drink water.
Yeah.
So, what's your breakfast look like? What's your snack? What's your lunch? Are you one of those people that's in my way when I'm trying to leave at night because you're blocking the road trying to get into Popeyes over there, right? And when you start to change the way you eat, it tastes really good. We buy more exotic fruits. We eat really well, and these things cost a lot of money. What's it cost for fast food every time you go? $10?
Depends on where you go.
Okay, on average?
Sure.
Okay. Maybe more. Because this is what we say to ourselves, right? Oh, it's too expensive to eat healthy. Right? What do you think a heart attack costs on average? $250,000? Depends how long you're in ER. Oxygen and exercise. Essential number, that's the circle. Number 4. So, high intensity, short duration. It's also called, help me out here. There's a name for it in the gym.
The high intensity interval training?
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, HIT, something, HIIT. High intensity interval training is the way to do it. We know from the science that increases the growth hormone and testosterone and decreases your cortisol. And what that equates to is short bursts. And it really sucks, okay? Because it's harder. I equate it for me to go out and put it on autopilot and run for 3 to 5 miles, I can just go out and enjoy it. But I've changed my running now where I'll go out and I'll run a mile and try to get a mile in as fast as I can, and trying to get under 7 minutes, and so then I get a mile away from home, and then I'll sprint, and we'll do this. We'll run to the fire hydrant. See that tree right there? And we run as hard as we can to that tree, or we race across the street, and then we'll walk for a little ways, and then we'll sprint. So you get your heart rate up and then back down. And you can do it with any type of exercise you like. You can do it with biking. You can do it with push-ups as fast as you can. We do the T3 here, the max T3. By the way, the bonus on this is it continues to burn fat for up to 36 hours after. See, we get on the treadmill for 45 minutes, and we get on this treadmill because we're burning calories. And really all we're doing is we're increasing the cortisol and stress hormones, and it doesn't work. We got more gyms in this country than we ever have, right? And 60% of the population is overweight. And so we gotta start being a little smarter about this. So we do the T3 here. Right now, Max T3 Max Living puts together the videos, and you can do a 12-minute workout burst, and everybody can do it. if you can do it sitting in a chair. You can run in place sitting in a chair and get your heart rate up till you can stand up and run in place, or do other, and they break it down into lower body, upper body, core, surge, and the core is the only core I found that actually you can start to see like a little bit, you know,
A
right?
little bit of six pack.
Right? Like a 2 3/4, almost 3. I get grief about that once in a while, but why not? And so we do this every Wednesday. We do 5:30 adjusting. It's a good workout, right? We do 5:30 adjusting. We work with everybody, whatever level. Diane, you've been here for it, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, yeah. Well, come on back. Everybody can do it, and that's the point. Walking's great, but you got to get your heart rate up. I sometimes will run farther away because I always think when I'm out running, boy, this would be a great place for just to walk, because I have no willpower. All right, minimizing toxins is the last one. That's number 5, and yes, medications and vaccines are a huge source of toxins. Not popular belief, but that's okay, I'm a chiropractor. And we think we can cure everything. But that's in your medicine cabinet. For women, makeup is just horrific, like the #1 source. And he's nodding over there. You know that, right? You
Well, yeah,
changed.
it's all them chemicals are going into your skin.
Yeah, you changed all your makeup, didn't you?
Oh, yeah. No, I don't. Yeah, I don't wear any makeup anymore.
Attaboy.
Thanks for playing along.
Yeah.
It is. We got medications, transdermal patches, but we forget that it just all goes in. Same with colognes and stuff. And so for women that would be, but underneath the kitchen sink, all the cleaning supplies and all the stuff we spray in our house that we breathe. And the food sprayed on the food, but also the pans that we use to cook the food in. Again, this is all broken down in here for you. And our water. So if you're looking at prioritizing this is how we would look at that. And one thing that we're going to do, the 5 essential equipping, like I said, this is a workshop we do for all our new patients. And when people start care here, they get a book with their home care kit because it's that important. And we don't even ask people anymore, do you want a book? It just goes in there. And we're scheduling everybody, all new patients, for this class as well, so that we can teach them. And we're going to do this on a monthly basis. But what we're going to do is we'll get in depth with the other 5 essentials, where we'll just have a class on nutrition. And what have we done them on? We've done on everything. We've done some on. Janelle did one on making some makeup.
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't here for that one because
It was girls only.
right, and I was really okay with that one. But it was good, wasn't it?
Yes, it was very good.
Yeah, and we do a recipe night. We do all kinds of stuff. And really, what I'd like to do, since you guys are here for this, I want to know what you want to learn next, and that'll be our next workshop. We don't do them every month, maybe every 6 weeks or so. But if there's other people you know that need to hear this piece, right? This would be a perfect one for George to come to, and he's always welcome. Every little bit, if we can't make you a patient, I don't care. If we can help you be healthier, that's what I care about. That's why we do this. I don't do this because I want new patients or I want to sell you vitamins. I want you to be healthy. What else? Oop. Makeup, cooking pots, cleaning stuff. What's that look like? Does it look like water? I don't know what it is. Vision. This is our vision. I already kind of told you that. That's what we're about. We're about equipping people to be healthy because we know that you have the power inside of you to heal. Okay? The statistics are 10 out of 10 of you will die. There's no getting around that. Okay? But we don't use the excuse that it's old age. You can say I'm getting older. I kind of got an understanding for what that means, but it's not old age, because there's people that do amazing things at all ages, and there's people that aren't capable. And if somebody else can do it, you can do it too. Okay? That's all I know. Well, I know a little bit more, but remember, health comes from above down, inside out. That's the principle we deal with here. I'm done. I'll hang around if you got some questions. Kim has a questionnaire, a survey for you. I'd like you to take it. If you